Oh my god. Can you stop whining at me like that? You're too cute.
Very cute though, wow. Just in the French Alps.
I'm not even in it. Wow.
Pull up.
I'll scoot over a little bit.
Over. Hi, doggy.
Excuse me.
Hi.
Excuse me.
You're so pretty. Hi. Hi.
There we go.
In the French Alps.
In the French Alps.
With my friends. Skiing. Partying. Met a new friend.
Living life.
Beautiful dog. Talking about life.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Why
do we like talking about life so much? Like, is it philosophical pondering? Is there anything useful to it? Does it feel good to just pontificate, or is there something real to it?
I feel like it feels good to reflect on, because at the end of the day, like, what life is about, or like the biggest question in our minds is always like, why are we here? Why are we doing what we're doing? Like, whether it's like work, school, fucking partying, doing what we're doing now. So I don't know, I feel like because of that, some people are just more prone to like thinking about that. And I feel like me and you like talking about that. So we like reflecting on where life is taking us and like why we're doing what we're doing right now.
Yeah, because you need a why.
You need a why. You can't just like, I don't know, you can't just like be living life with just no reason behind it. Like you can't just be, I don't know. I don't even know why I live life though.
It's interesting to think. I think I need to set my own goals and own like this is what I like am made for. Like it's almost sickening when I catch myself getting caught in routines. And I'm like, oh, I'm just living on autopilot, being told what to do or being told what to like. That's what I think. I don't know if it's cringe is the right word, but just liking things because other people like them or doing things because other people do them. I mean, we all have to do it a little bit, but like having that be like the biggest part of your life, I just think is so like basic.
Yeah, I know. Like our lives right now, studying abroad, like we don't have that set routine.
Mm-hmm.
I guess during the week in Barcelona a little bit, but not really. We're like we leave on Thursday. Like we're literally there for 3 days.
I mean, to be fair, the life we're living right now is not real.
Yeah, it's not real.
It's genuinely not real.
That's what I'm
We've
saying.
been to
like
11 cities in 3 weeks, all over Europe.
Yeah.
We're in the French Alps right now. I'm gonna be in Egypt next week. Like none of this is real.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, but that's what I'm saying. Like once we return to like our normal lives, we're gonna be in a routine. Like
yeah,
whether like this summer we're interning or like next year, senior year, it's gonna be like. I mean, senior year is still be fun, but this summer, like, and after we graduate, like, it's just gonna be job, go home, eat dinner, shower, sleep.
Yeah, that's scary.
That's scary, right?
That's scary. I like.
That's why, like,
that's why I want money. It's literally only to have the freedom to not do all that.
That's why I want to start my own business, because I feel like, for me, like, I need that. If I have that personal drive, that motivation, that's like. Taking me to work every day and like everything is like interesting, intriguing, like I actually genuinely enjoy what I'm doing and like I'm doing it for myself. I feel like that takes you out of that routine in a way, because it's not like you're just going to work to make money. You're going to work because obviously you want to make money, but you want to like be successful, you want to like make your own brand, you want to like put yourself out there.
I forget who said it, but it's something like it was like a hierarchy of 3 things. It was like a whatever it was, work, like a passion, and then a calling.
Yeah.
And the calling is the thing you should be pursuing, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting, like the YouTube thing, or just like, I don't know, connecting with people or teaching people the things that I've learned about or that I think are important, or like the principles that I think are important to live a good, meaningful, successful life.
Yeah.
That I feel like is my calling, like connecting with people, making people laugh. Like I
agree. I see that. And honestly, like a lot of people say this and it sounds really cliche, but like the best thing to do is like do what you're good at and do what you like, and like the money will follow.
But you have to, this is like the struggling artist idea, because like you can be a great artist but, you know, be poor.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Figuring out how to monetize it, figuring out how to.
Actually,
dude, I've been
in
learning.
my Catalonia in Spain to the arts class, we talked a lot about that actually.
Yeah.
How it's not
Picasso
just about
and Dali.
Picasso. We were talking about Picasso.
As brand managers, as people that attract attention to themselves.
Like obviously you can be a good artist, but so much of it is like putting yourself out there and marketing yourself. And it was so interesting. Like that was the first class. Like I like art, but like I don't love art.
Yeah. I love art.
Yeah, I know. But in that class, like, we were talking about, like, the marketing part of art, and I thought that was so interesting. Like, obviously Picasso is, like, phenomenal. Obviously he's a great artist, but there's so many great artists out there.
Yeah.
And it's a lot about, like, the community he was able to build and, like, how he's able to market himself. That's so, like, it's so interesting.
And that's exactly what your advice was for me.
Yeah.
Was you can be as good of a whatever I am.
Yeah.
As I could be, but, like, if you don't have the distribution channels right and reaching the right people and building it up, it's like yelling into a vacuum.
Yeah, which is why I think, like, what we're doing is good. Like, we go to Georgetown. Like, we're building such a strong network just by going to school.
Yeah.
That's
the best thing
what
school
you're paying
is.
for.
Connection. Yeah, it's connections and network and friends.
Like, I know I can, like, Georgetown does run deep. Like, Georgetown has strong alumni connections. I literally remember I spoke to, so my dad works at Vanguard, and I think he offhandedly mentioned that to, like, the CFO of Vanguard who went to Georgetown, that my son's going to Georgetown, and he was like, oh, I want to meet your son. And I had, like, a 30-minute sit down with, like, the CFO of Vanguard.
That's sick.
So cool.
What did he know?
He was just giving me, like, career advice, life advice. He kind of told me the same thing. Like, he was like, your first job doesn't really matter. Like, just do what you like. Like, don't think about it so much, and, like, don't get, like, caught up in, like, it feels like when you're going through recruiting, when you're going through, like, the like, college life, it feels like your next step matters so much. But, like, your first job is, like, so unimportant in the grand scheme of things. I mean, this guy did do Morgan Stanley investment banking out of college.
Of course, yeah.
So,
yeah.
But that was, like, the biggest thing he said to me. And he told me, like, I have friends who are so much richer than me, and they own their own company.
Yeah.
And they didn't, like, work super cool jobs out of college. Like, they just did normal shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was interesting. Really nice guy. It was super cool. He actually, honestly, it was supposed to be 30 minutes, but he sat down with me for, like, an hour. We were, like, talking, like, just Georgetown after that for a while. Georgetown basketball.
Yeah.
He was, like, one of the founders of Guafsku back in the day.
I always think about, like, the life my dad lived and how for the first, like, 35 years it was just all play, it seems like.
So interesting.
And yet now, very successful in all regards.
I mean, that's one way to do it.
It's so interesting because it's like...
what does your dad say? Does he, like...
He says to work, shake people's hands, look them in the eye, stand up straight, be as competent as you can, always call people back. He says always follow up with people, always check in, always be doing, biannual emails to people, just being like, hey, thanks for the conversation last time. Keeping people in mind.
I think that's the thing I need to improve on the most. Is
being trustworthy, following through on your word, not being a dick, and having all of that compound over time.
Yeah, I think that checking in and, like, keeping connections warm is something I need to improve on. It's it's harder than it sounds. Like, just sending an email, because it's like, why am I reaching out to this person?
Yeah, it's not for any reason.
Yeah, it's just to, like, say, like, what's up, check in on them, like, how they're doing.
Look up here.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's doable, though. I think it's like you just have to get in the habit of doing it, and you won't think it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's the simple things.
It's really simple. But your dad, like,
he owns two of his own companies.
But he's glad, like, he spent 30 years of his life playing, and now he's grinding and successful.
Yeah, I mean,
it's pretty good.
Yeah. So, it's just interesting how different, like, you can be successful multiple ways.
Yeah.
Every way. You can be successful every way.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, like, my parents are pretty successful. But, like, yeah, my dad worked a normal job all his life.
It's different. It's, like, different.
Yeah, but, like, he also, like, immigrated to this country at, like, 35 years old.
Yeah, that's crazy. You were saying that last night.
Which is, like literally zero money in the bank account.
Yeah, you're going to have 25 years more of compounding good habits and...
Like, I'm, like...
that's
networking. Why, like, I don't think I'm ever going to have to, like, knock on wood, worry about money in my life. Because the fact that, like, if my parents can do that...
Yeah.
Out of 35, like, I can do that starting now.
It's so interesting. The immigrant mentality is, like, something I fucking lack because it's the
Yeah.
dog. You need that dog mindset.
Yeah.
You need that dog mindset of just
I think I have
needing
it,
to
but
win,
it's
needing
not to
to
the
make
it's
it.
not to the same degree as my parents had it, but like, dude, yeah, like you talked about like I knew I was gonna be successful, like you had to be successful. Like my parents had to make money. Like
yeah, you literally have to make money.
Yeah, like we came here 2007. Dad came under like a normal job. We like moved here. We were in an apartment for a long time, saving up for like down payment on a house because obviously no money, right? And then we were gonna go back to India for a while. Actually.
Really?
I don't know if you knew that.
Wow.
After Ohio, it'd been 3 years, and my parents like they were totally open to going back because obviously their entire family's there. Like they love India.
Mm-hmm.
But for like I think they looked at like the opportunities like kids here had, and there's opportunities in India too now, but not to the same degree as the U.S. And like honestly, they were ready to go back, but I think it was like I remember this. My parents have told me, I told them that they should buy a house close to the airport in India, so I can go back whenever I want. And I think that was like one of the things that like they always tell me like, I think we realized that and then we decided to stay.
Wow.
Honestly, like we were a week away from leaving
to
India, and
that's
my dad found a job and we moved to Michigan.
Wow.
Because we came here on like an expat assignment. It was only supposed to be 3-4 years. So he's supposed to go back.
Wow.
And then he found a new job in Michigan, probably similar like level, and it worked out. Like we stayed in the U.S. Like that's how life works, bro.
Yeah, that's
like
crazy.
literally a week or two before we were supposed to leave for India. I'm not even lying. We had all of our stuff packed up, our entire stuff in boxes. We'd moved out of our house.
Damn, that's crazy.
Like this is a totally true story.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
God damn. Yeah, I'm just thinking about like how all the little things.
Yeah, that's not even a little thing. That's like a big.
Yeah,
thing.
yes, that's a big thing.
Like what country?
I mean, I don't even know. How do you even define that? What's like comparable to that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even know.
Like the country you live in.
I think of that as like a near-death experience or something. Like,
dude, yeah, I can't imagine if I.
Dude, imagine if you.
Dude, because I was
grown up in India.
I was so American at that point. Like if I'd gone back.
What would you have been like?
I don't know. Like my Hindi's so bad now too. I was like talking to these Indian guys in the bathroom line, and they were like, "Yeah, we could tell you're American," and I was like, "Yeah, of course, bro."
That's funny.
Also my American accent. Obviously.
Yeah.
Like I don't have an Indian accent anymore.
Yeah, you got that white boy Georgetown accent. That's fine.
I didn't speak English when I moved to the U.S. So.
Damn, that's crazy. That's that immigrant.
Yeah.
Chatting with an immigrant.
You're chatting with a first-gen immigrant, actually.
Wow. Chatting in the French Alps.
Yeah.
With an immigrant. That sounds like I just
sounds so
picked
bad.
one up off the road.
It sounds like I hopped the border.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Back to the border crisis. What are your thoughts on the border crisis?
Mexican border crisis?
I don't know, because it's interesting. It's too idealist to just be like we're all one, even though that's right.
It's way too idealist.
But it's like that.
Like for me, I don't know. As somebody who immigrated to this country, I think most people who did immigrate to this country legally will say the same thing. Like, there shouldn't be fully open borders. Like that's just not a good idea.
It's interesting. I
think you could ask any of my parents or any of my parents' friends. Like obviously we're friends with a lot of people who also immigrated to this country. A lot of Indian people, and they'd say the same shit. Like we moved here totally legally. I don't know. I would never I get the appeal of having I think there should be somewhat you should let some people in for opportunities and stuff, but otherwise you're just gonna overcrowd the country and drown out everybody else. It's just gonna make the quality of life even worse.
We're naturally competitive people, and wars have always been a part of our history, part of our persons. But now we're getting to the point where technology is so advanced where we can't even have wars.
Dude, I don't get how war is even still a thing today, because we have enough weapons
to blow up the earth 100 times over,
to literally wipe us out. None of those are ever going to be used. I strongly believe that if they are, if one is used, the entire world ends.
Yeah, that's the thing, dude. I saw Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones talking about that they think the chance of a nuclear war in the next 5 years is significant, like
I think
statistically
it's like
significant.
literally zero. Like mutually, like I actually did a debate about this in high school,
Uh-huh.
and I was like so anti. Like mutually assured destruction is like the strongest deterrent that like possibly is out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like, what are you gonna like if you
Yeah,
nuke somebody, you're dead.
Yeah, yes, you're dead too.
So like, what's the
All it takes is
incentive?
one crazy person. Like,
yeah, I mean that's
crazy
the
person,
argument,
just,
right?
like, that's the argument.
Somebody who like doesn't care about their like who wants the world to end essentially.
Yeah.
Just see it go down in flames.
That's like one of the interesting things when I was learning about like bioweapons, and this guy Daniel Schmachtenberger, he was talking about like the exponential increase in technology, and also the how it becomes so much more distributed and cheaper. So like you and I have access to like AI tools and stuff, and we're, like if we wanted to, we would have access to like designing like drugs and like molecules and stuff, and we could do that like relatively cheaply. Can sequence the human genome for $100 in an hour, and he's saying like it's so insane to think about that just someone from their basement could create like a virus.
Oh my god, that's so scary.
And like I've thought so much about it, and it's just like, how do you regulate a super distributed thing like that, where there are people that are unhappy and, you know, want the world to end, like a Columbine or.
Yeah. I honestly don't know. Like I have no good answer for that.
The old the top down just doesn't work when it's distributed and free access.
Yeah.
It has to come from the individual, which is like, that's a little bit of like a hippie answer, but like I genuinely think it's right. Like that's why I think like just being kind to people and just like that is the greatest way to stop World War III nuclear war.
I agree. Actually, that's a good point. Honestly, I don't even know what to say. I feel like you can't control the crazies out there, and once like that technology is accessible to everybody, like it is. I guess it's kind of game over at that point.
I think so much about, you know how Nietzsche said God is dead and we have killed him in like what late 1800s.
Yeah.
And so he said God is dead, we have killed him because because of the scientific revolution and the Enlightenment, and there's no need for religion because we know everything now. And
that's so not true.
That's
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
I don't believe in that at all. I don't really like Nietzsche. I don't know that much about him, but I remember learning like a little bit. I don't like that mentality. Like we've learned everything. Like that's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, like,
no, I think he's not saying that. He's saying that that's a critique on society.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's like society's viewpoint that he's pointing out.
Is he saying God is dead though?
And we have killed him because we've replaced God with science.
Because with knowledge, with science? I don't think that's true either. I think I think science and religion are very, very different. Like, I don't think necessarily, like, people look at religion as, like, a way to explain, like, why we're here, like what we were talking about at the start.
Yeah. The central question.
Yeah, the central question. But I don't view science as doing that. Like, in my opinion, science is more about like pushing humanity's boundaries, but religion is about accessing that sphere that's like outside of humanity's boundaries. There's certain things like religion answers the questions that we cannot answer, and I don't think science will ever come close. Like it's not possible.
Of what happens before the Big Bang? What happens after we die?
Yeah, what happens after we die? Like it's impossible. As per science, as per science, once we die, we die. As far as like current human knowledge knows. May be true, may not be true.
It's so funny, like learning about like psychedelics and hearing what people like on when people take DMT, they talk about meeting these entities that are like more real than anything they've ever met before in their real lives, and people explain it as like we're like 3-dimensional beings in a super hyper dimensional world, and there are things going all around us, and that when you take these basically evolution has veiled these realities because they're not practically and imminently important to us, but that when we take these substances or when you enter these like different states, you can kind of access those, and you get even if you get closer to the quote unquote truth, you're moving farther away from like the reality that we have to be active in. Like this is like what I spent from like 15 to 19 thinking about is the idea of like truth versus practicality, and I now think practicality is a subset of truth. Practicality is like the implementable real world version of truth, because every practical advice is true, I think, like whether
Yeah.
like you want it to be or not. But there are other true things that are true but aren't like good for you to do. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
A little bit. I think I need you to explain that a little bit more though. There's true things that don't necessarily make sense. Is that what you're saying?
Like hypothetically, if the world was like in an 11-dimensional space and there was
Okay,
entities
yeah,
all
yeah,
around
yeah.
us, and you could like
Oh, you just like wouldn't be able to grasp that. Like it wouldn't make sense.
yeah, it wouldn't be implementable.
Yeah, I get what
Even
you're
if
saying.
that's true, it's not implementable.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I like thinking about this stuff, but at the same time, like, I want to like live my life in the present moment. Like, I
Uh-huh.
don't want to necessarily always be like, what is this? Why are we doing this?
Mhm.
Like, I
More
think it's-
simple life.
I think it's important to think about these things, but like when I'm in my like day to day, I want to be like here. I want to be like in the moment. I want to be centered.
How do you center yourself? How do you find the present moment? Because
Mm.
I get caught on autopilot mode. I feel like more and more.
I was on autopilot. I feel like I've lived a lot of my life being on autopilot a lot. I think being abroad, it's really easy to be present because obviously we're doing so much cool stuff. But I think I've also just been focusing on it a lot more. Like, I think for me, like, the way I do it is, like, I just remind myself, like, I focus on, like, being, like, aware, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but, like,
How do you be aware?
like if you focus on your actual like awareness, like when you think about stuff, there's like your mind, right? What you're thinking about. There's like
You mean your like mental stage?
yeah.
like-
There's your like your thinking.
Uh-huh.
There's like your emotions. I don't know. You can separate all of these things. I feel
Mhm.
like, but I feel like at the base level, like just your sense of like feeling.
Like perception?
Perception is not the right word. It's like consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Like your sense of like being here.
Are you talking more like the tactile sense of being here, or like the
No, it's
metaphysical
more like
sense of it?
metaphysical sense. Like you're here.
Mhm.
Like if you, it's kind of hard. Like I think meditation is a good way to do it.
Mhm.
But if you like meditate and obviously like quiet your mind, quiet your thoughts,
Mhm.
like what are you left with?
Mhm.
It's just you. Like it's just you there.
But then they talk about like the dissolution of the ego, and how you aren't there.
No, but you're not the ego.
Or you're not the ego.
At least I don't think so.
The ego is a sub part of you.
Yeah, I feel like the ego is
the
more like the
Practical, implementable.
The ego
part
is more
of
like
your bigger truth.
your like the thoughts that you're trying to quiet, right?
I'm not sure. I've never really understood the dissolution of the ego thing.
I think like the
I've gone
ego,
back
the
and forth a
id, and the
lot.
superego. Wait, what's the dissolution of the ego?
Well, it's what people like. I think through meditation and psychedelics talk about as like the killing of your ego as like a good thing, because it's this hyper personal thing that is like a bit of an illusion.
Yeah.
That's what they say. The ego is an illusion.
I
The self
actually
is an
agree.
illusion.
No, I agree with that, but I don't agree with the self being an illusion. I agree with the ego. Like I think your thoughts and stuff, like your actual like stuff that's going on, a lot of that is an illusion. Like it's just like your brain trying to, how do I say this? Traverse.
Like
the
running
world
through every
around you.
possible problem space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you're literally like going from like you're trying to solve every single thing that's going on in the world.
It's
like an illusion. Like that. None of that shit matters. But I think the self is a thing. I think the self is the more like base level though. So I think when you strip away the thoughts, and I don't know if I'm like this is my thought process. I'm like not backing this off any philosophers right now. But like when you strip away the thoughts, you get to that, and you just focus. You're left with like something that's like deeper. It's like your awareness, your consciousness, and I think that's like once you like become aware of that, I think it helps you be so much more aware and in the moment. I don't think like I'm always there, but I think I'm getting better at being reminded that like it's not I'm sitting behind my thoughts, not necessarily in my thoughts.
See, I have trouble bridging bridging the bridge. I don't know how else to say it. Getting caught on autopilot mode to being aware of my consciousness and being aware of my awareness, all that kind of thing. So I try to use I don't, if I can remember, like physical cues to trigger it. Yeah. Because if I go like this, I'll feel like, oh wait, okay, I'm a sensing person. I my body's connected to my brain. I'm incorporating all this information. I'm a thinking thing. I'm here.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's good. I think that's pretty much like similar to what I do. I think mine is more like I kind of like I think like I try and sit behind my thoughts in the sense that I'm aware of like what I'm thinking, and that like brings me back to the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll force myself to think something, like I'll say like hello in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize that you're not like necessarily like I'm aware of that hello, like I'm listening to that hello, like
Mm-hmm.
I can see that in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps me bring myself, because like bring yourself to the moment, and like the tactile sense is good. That helps me in the mental sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way I do it, but I think there's no right answer.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it's really important. Like, if you're like living life on autopilot, like what are you doing?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, you can't like, I don't know. Like you need to. That's like what we were talking about, like with going to work and stuff. Like
Yeah,
the
it's
routine.
exactly the same thing.
You cannot be on autopilot, bro. Like that's like one thing I'm really like.
Andrew Tate and Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson would say that the elites want you on autopilot because you're a mindless consumer, because you are a worker bee, because you are compliant, because you are a non-thinking, non-questioning, non-protesting, non-resistant individual that would not form a group and would not resist whatever they say. That's what they would say. I mean, obviously, I do not agree with any of those points.
It's really interesting. I mean, if you like really reflect back at it, like, what are we like doing with like humanity's created this social structure, right?
Humanity's created a social structure that we all live within.
We've created this governance system. We've created everything, and I mean, humanity's only been here for so long. Like, the actual like developed civilization,
dude, like
is like a blip.
Few thousand, yeah, like nothing
compared to how long humans have been here.
Yeah.
We've barely had society.
Yeah.
Like, we were just like...
No, society is a very new invention.
Society's a very new concept.
Yeah.
Who's to say it's a right concept?
Yeah.
Who's to say we're doing things right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that's the psychedelic, or the 60s and the 70s, there were people who were living in communes, going back, trying to go back to free trade.
That's why, like...
I just don't know if that's scalable.
Aliens, like, right? Aliens might be out there, but they might not... We might never find them because they might not just have civilization. Like, they might not have society. I think you need society to have science and to have technology and stuff.
Yeah, like trees. Like trees are like a life force.
Yeah.
They're so like beneficial.
Yeah.
They're so ingrained into the ecosystem. It's just like they move on such a slower time scale.
Yeah.
We just move on such a fast time scale. I've said this so many times before, but like the way humans are moving, it's like we're running so fast that we're tripping on ourselves.
Yeah, it's exponential.
And it's exponential, and the ways for dealing with it, both at the individual and societal and Earth level, are just like not equipped to handle that. Like Daniel Schmachtenberger, that guy I was referencing before, talking about bioweapons, he says that we have like we're on an exponential technological and financial curve. Like, you know how we have to make these interest payments, and they're greater and greater, $1 trillion worth of interest just on our debt every single year. And our technology is like increasing exponentially. We have a exponential technological and financial curve tied to like a linear materials economy. That's what he says. I don't know exactly
who
what
said that?
Daniel Schmachtenberger. I'll show you his stuff later. He's
That's
the
really
smartest person I've ever heard talk. I don't know exactly what a linear materials economy is. I think
I get what he's saying.
All of the stuff, but and if you could also think about that as in terms of like governance, like societal structures and individual like relationships, how to like manage everything. Those are like negative, like flat to linear. Like
that's crazy. No, like think about it. Like
there's a mismatch.
Literally, we've probably had electricity for like 2 lifetimes.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, like what, 1900-ish?
Maybe 3 lifetimes.
Yeah,
but that's like not that long.
Not at all.
Think about how different our lives are going to be by the time like we're 70,
we are
80.
changing the composition of the Earth so drastically in the last 100 years. From space, you went from not being able to see us to being able to see us 24/7. There are lights shining everywhere. You can see cities from space easily, like, and if you think about climate change is the most insane idea. We are
We're literally changing the
We're
earth.
changing the earth to such a degree, no pun intended, that it's
Yeah.
like the earth doesn't know how to manage it because earth and trees and everything else is caught up in this super complex ecosystem, but it moves on like a slower time scale. And now that through technology, through this super hyper tool use that we've figured out, it's like we're moving so fast that the earth doesn't know how to adapt to it. We don't know, like, it doesn't know how to, it doesn't fit into the rest of the ecosystem. Like, we're doing things that aren't pieces of the puzzle. We're creating new pieces of the puzzle, and we're like, where does this go? Trying to shove shit in.
The earth is literally trying to wipe us out. Like, the earth is saying that, like, we're not treating it right.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's gonna kill us.
It's like a repercussion.
Like, that's what's going on.
It's literally a consequence.
Like the earth, like, we are treating the earth so poorly that its response is it's gonna warm itself.
Yeah.
And, like, what's it called? Adaptation. Like, as you evolve, right?
Yeah.
You, like, mutate or you adapt. Like, you adapt to your environment. To survive. Right? Survival of the fittest. The earth is doing that. The earth is literally, like, doing what it needs to do to survive, and it's realizing, like, we're killing it. So the natural response is to, like, kill us.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think that's right. I think I think we're just warming the earth, and the earth's just getting warmer.
I don't know, man.
And we're gonna get effed by
yeah,
consequence.
I see. I see what you're saying. But, like, if there's, like, a flea on me, and it, like, bit me, I would fucking kill the flea.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I guess I'm giving sentience to the earth.
Super anthropomorphizing.
Yeah, I'm anthropomorphizing the earth. I agree. Yeah.
Great word. Oh yeah. So we didn't even tell you where we are. We're in the romantic chalet, honeymoon suite.
Yeah, lots of hearts in the room.
In the French Alps on me and Arian's romantic getaway.
It's been fun.
I will say yesterday was probably, I don't know if I can say it was the craziest day of my life, but it was essentially the craziest day of my life.
It was probably the craziest day of my life.
I woke up at 7 a.m. off 2.5 hours of sleep.
You went skiing, bro. I forgot about that. I
skied so hard. I went down a triple black diamond when I haven't skied in like 5 years.
Yeah.
It said, do not enter if you're not a very advanced skier. Don't enter. Like, this is dangerous. It's a 70-degree incline. That was the slope. It literally was like this. And I was like crawling my way down, just trying to survive. Barely surviving.
Were people like zipping down it?
Yeah, but like 10% of the people were there. Most people were like getting destroyed by it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to ever ski in my life, to be honest.
It's so interesting, like, the old people that were at this festival.
Oh my
Why
God, bro.
are the old people at the festival? Festival going, partying is a thing for the youth. It's a thing that I only do because everyone else does. It's a thing that is like a...
Like, it's super fun, but it's like a way for me to be social, and, like, people do it, I do it. It's super fun, but when I'm 40, like, if I had a family and stuff, like, obviously that's my goal.
Yeah.
I would want to settle down at some point.
Completely.
I wouldn't want to be going to, like, raves. Like, I wouldn't want my kids to be like,
That's
where's your dad right now?
How do you not grow out of that?
Oh, he's at a rave right now.
Isn't it, like, a very childish thing?
Yeah, like
to me, it just seems very childish.
Like, you said your dad had a crazy face. He's not going to raves now.
Hell no. He's sober now. He's been sober for 30 years.
Yeah,
that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go crazy, and then you're supposed to become an adult.
Yeah.
And contribute to making the world a better place.
Yeah, I know we, like, assign that to people, but I do think there's, like, some truth to it. Like, otherwise, how are you going to raise the next generation? Like, how are you going to be, like, a good parent and, like, teach your kids how to do the right thing if you're, like, off just partying?
That's crazy.
I just...
And also, how are you still getting value out of it? I'm almost done getting value out of it.
Dude, I think after study abroad, I don't think I'm going to ever go to a club again.
Wow. Senior year of college? New York? Definitely going to.
Not in New York. New York, like, the clubs are so expensive. Like, you can't really get in unless you slip the bouncer 100.
Really?
Or you get a table.
Really? Damn.
But maybe in Georgetown. I don't know. I don't really like clubbing that much.
Yeah, it's alright.
Like,
I like it sometimes. Like, I like dancing.
I like dancing,
There's good music.
But I just don't like I feel like clubs get really, like, grimy and sleazy a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like, they're just hookup fests.
Yeah.
Which, like, is fun. Yeah.
I'm
not going to say it's not. But,
yeah.
I think, like, it's too much like that, and it's not, like...
And the fact that you're still doing that at 40 is...
Yeah.
It's just, like, I don't know, I want to say it's haram, but it's just, like, it's not developed. It's not productive.
Yeah.
It's not, like, it's not what you should be doing, I don't think. Like,
No, I don't think so either.
I forget who said, oh, it's Naval. You know Naval Ramakant or something? He started Angel List. He's like
No,
really
but I know what
interesting
Angel
guy.
List is. Yeah.
So he started Angel List.
Yeah.
He's a super smart guy. You should find out about him. He's a G. He was on Rogan. He was talking about the lives of like the quote unquote ancient like Romans, Greece, Greek, whatever.
I think that period of history is so interesting.
So he was talking about the development of their lives. He was like, all right, at the beginning of your life, you're a student, and then you go to war, and then you start a business, and then you're like in the, you're in commerce, you're in the business world, and then you join like government, and then you're like a philosopher at the end of your life. Like there's this natural, holistic maturity that aligns with your life that I feel like I would like to embody. Like I'm a student now, I'm gonna get into business. I want to contribute working with organizations to implement clean energy and laws to not have so many plastics in everything and all that kind of thing. And then you go on to philosopher, and I take psychedelics when I'm 80 and really discover what's actually out there.
That's really interesting because this reminds me of. My parents go occasionally go to this religious thing. It's kind of like it's not like church, but it's like more like a philosopher giving his ideas. It's like a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a discussion group about religion. I don't know how to describe it.
I like that.
But one of the things he said is that your role in life is after it's good to work. It's good to make money. There's nothing wrong with that. Religion, some people will say religion tells you why are you working and making money, you should just be helping people all the time. He said there's nothing wrong with living your life making money, but he said at the end of your life you should, once you retire from your job, you should give back. Your role should be to become a teacher and help other people. Whatever skills you've gained throughout your life, that last period after you turn 65, 70, you retire, or whenever you want to retire, 80, whatever. You turn to becoming that kind of philosopher teacher who passes on your wisdom to everybody else.
I like that. I feel like that's the only thing that I even want to do. I feel like that's the only significant thing. Should we get out of here?
Yeah, we should.
Okay. Thank you guys. Should we text Tucker?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's
life. I can't even believe this is real.
Yeah.
This looks like it was painted.
It is real.
It's like
I tell you.
It's real.
You sure?
You wake up and see it every day.
Can you touch it?
Sorry?
Can we touch it? You think?
Yes, you can.
It's it's unbelievable. You have a really cool place here. Hope to come back.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we can't really get it in the we haven't really shown you guys so far, but get in this. Just. Oh,